This is your spiritual reading for the season, the week, whatever, however long or however this episode applies to you. Take it as you need it. The first card on the spiritual side for the Taurus, we have the Ten of Water. Now, I had gotten through 3 cards here before. So, what I was getting through this was the fact that we have some turbulence in the emotional area coming about here. Feeling a little uncomfortable with dealing with it. We're still wanting to remove ourselves quite highly from our emotional center. But yet we kind of know we have to deal. So there's a sense of a little bit of a resistance here to emotional stuff that's rising to the surface here. So the next card we have, the Four of Fire, right? And that's talking about focus. That's talking about intent. That's talking about, wisdom. Everything is in line here, and we've got an area that we're going to put all our power. I do feel that this is our, again, I do feel this is our emotional center trying to speak to us, like put it in this direction, like go in this direction. I feel we're being guided quite highly. But again, there's resistance. So the next card we get is the Six of Air. Again, dark and light seems to be the theme here through these readings, which is, I mean, it's the theme universally, right? Dark and light. We're having a tug and pull here with dark and light. And I feel like I feel like the dark is trying to get us away from our emotional center so we can deal with things not of the light. And I feel like, we just don't realize that that's not going to do us any good at this point. But this is the thing. We need to see the contrast here between the light and dark. Just give me a minute here and get my glass. Because they're showing me the caduceus here. Right? Because that is, in essence, a caduceus right down the middle there. And that is a symbol, can be used as a symbol for medical, for healing, for almost like intertwining. Now give me a minute here, because there's intertwining the two. Now Taurus may be in resistance of realizing or not realizing. We realize there's dark. We are in resistance to look at it. We don't want to look at it head on. It's like we don't want to look in the sun. We don't want to look into the dark because we feel it's going to pull. But there's a certain part of you that has to accept that it's there, gain knowledge about what it's trying to do, and then you back out. And it's like, I don't want no part of it. I don't want to deal with it. And I think universally they're saying, well, we know it's not good and it's not where we need to go, but we do need to know what it is trying to do to us, how it is affecting us, and we need to know where it is. So if we avoid it altogether, we can't have power over it. This is the thing that I think the Taurus is going through. And they don't realize that removing themselves from their emotions is of the dark. They don't feel that. They feel that they're still, they don't realize that. Okay, we're going to move forward to the next row here, the above cards. So to expand on the emotional center here, again, this is something we're going to have to get into gear with. These earth signs really have a hard time with this emotional center. We want our distance. Some are in complete denial. I ain't going there, and I never have, and I never will. And then there's some that are like, what is that? What's that? How do I use that? Well, this is the road we're on. So the longevity, it's going to be here. So we need to deal with these things. We can't put it off because it's just going to get bigger, bigger, bigger. And a lot of these signs, if they're in denial of the emotional center, we're going to have disruptions in it. We're going to have explosions in it of an emotional nature until we get into balance with them, right? So, okay, the above card we get is the Six of Fire, which relates to Saturn here. We have an old man with, what is that? Some kind of a contraption. Almost looks like the justice scale, but I don't think it is. And a scythe. And it says we're serious energy or attitude towards our emotions. I feel like that is the universe going, we need to take this seriously. This emotional center, we can no longer put it off. We have to bring it forth to bear. Okay, boom, that's it. On the focus, again, I feel like the Taurus is focused. Yeah, Taurus is focused highly on either one person or one direction where they're willing to work. And I also get, they go, this is us. Focusing on them to bring their emotions up. This is what they're doing. So to expand on that card, wow, we get the Magician, the Ace of Elements. Focused, insightful, and skillful. There's all your tools. So the Taurus may be focused on gaining their tools. They may be focused on manifesting something. Again, if we do not include our emotional center in this, we're not going to be successful. Carry on. Now the dark and light here, they're just plunking it down. We need to see the dark as much as we see the light. We're really focused on the light, which is good, but we can't avoid the dark. We can't, we have to look at it, and we have to assess it. We have to understand it. And there's a reluctance to go in that door and understand for fear of being pulled further. We are in charge here. We can say yes or no. If something feels bad, then we can come out. But we need to realize what is going on here, the darkness, right? We need to understand what they're trying to do so we can overcome. Now, on top of that, we have the Maiden of Fire, which is a spark of inspiration. And isn't that interesting that both cards kind of have a light right from the center in the heart area? There's something here that is going to be sparked universally, because universe said right down the center, we got our arrow sparked in your direction, Taurus, and you are going to evolve in the heart center. Whether you want to accept that or not, we're coming at you. And we're going to give you an inspiration point here that is going to illuminate and pull you in a good way, meaning we're going to pull you in so you can understand what you need to understand to give you the power to be more, less in fear, to be more, overcome all of this. Good stuff, because right down the center, the universe got their eye on you. You got your eye on something. I feel like what you're really trying to knock out of the park here is your abilities, your wand, your pentacle, your sword, and your cup. You're trying to get all those things in alignment, kind of being lost in it, not knowing what to do, but the universe coming in and giving you signals. Okay, so just keep going on that line and you'll find your way here. Okay, as we move into the geometry cards, on top of the Saturn, serious energy or attitude, what do we get? Triangle, divine masculine. This may be where our emotions are heightened. This is where our love comes out, right? We may be in a partnership or looking for a partnership, whatever, single or coupled. This is where we're taking things quite seriously, having to do with the divine masculine. We could be a divine masculine, dealing with our own center here of how to deal with emotions, or we could be a feminine, trying to master our divine masculine, okay? Taking it very seriously, and the emotional centers bringing up stuff, and this is the area where we just really can't avoid it. It is something that we prize quite highly, and this is where the universe, I feel, is turning on the headlight here. Okay, this is where they want to work and put effort in. Then we're going to illuminate these things in this area. Okay, interesting. Okay, now on the laser focus here, and the Magician with all the skills, the geometry card is purple. Royalty, nobility, and luxury. Yeah. Because they're showing me someone sitting there with all the tools, like they got the power. So there might be an esteem issue here having to do with, we may have felt like we were missing something, but the universe is saying, no, we're not. We just have to act on those things that we know, instead of just running around in my head and letting everything run outside of you. We have to interact with our field. Because it's like the Taurus is sitting there going, yeah, this is wrong, that's wrong, but they're not interacting with those that, and it may be a divine masculine, that are making a difference. We're not interacting. This is going this way and this is going that way, and we're just missing tracks. So if we stop and communicate, then we might get something going. Something might happen here. So I feel like this person, whoever's energy I'm picking, it could be masculine or feminine here, it don't matter. They just really have to sit in their own energy and realize that they are the king here. They are in a place here where they have all the tools they need. They just have to go about. One, communication seems to be highly something here. We're either not tapping into or not taking advantage of communication process here with a partner. And then secondly, there's nobility that we come from. We come from a truth and a worth on our side. We come from worth. Went deaf in the left ear there. There's a truth that we come from. We got to speak it outward. Because otherwise we're going to be in a torturous energy. We're just holding all our nobility or all our wealth of knowledge back, so we can't gain anything. If we hold it all within ourselves and then we're frustrated because our partner doesn't care, this is all, is all backing up. Okay, so on top of the dark and light, again, there's a spark of the divine that's going to come forth to illuminate this to you. And again, don't be afraid of the dark. We got to go in there, introduce ourselves, say, how you doing? What's your agenda? Oh, okay. Well, that's on a fly with me. See ya. You have to know somewhat what is going on there. You can't just fear it and walk away, because that's when they get you. So on top of that, again, there's a spark coming from the universe. They're going to play a card here. We have the Ankh. Talking about eternal life and sexuality. Now we have a divine masculine. And talking about partnerships here. Give me a moment. The spark may be physical spark between a partnership. I feel like that's the way the universe is going to unload this. Okay, just give me moments to explain. Now we may have a point here where we're noticing things about our partner that we don't, whatever. It's an incongruence. We're not matching up, okay? But we're not communicating that to our partner. So we're kind of isolating ourselves or holding back our emotions, at least, in this area. Now, the spark, yeah, the spark that the universe is going to give is that attraction of the partner. The physical attraction of the partner is going to put you in a position where we're going to try a little harder. Why? Because we want that intimacy, we want that connection, we want. And we know if we want something, we got to work for it. So this is ingrained in the Taurus. So this is where they're going to hit you up to get you to get through on an emotional level with the partner. Now this is interesting because we're talking about sex and emotion. Bringing out emotions, it's kind of backwards the way but they're going, trust us, for the Taurus, it'll work. Like reverse psychology, this is what they're doing. Because it's like the physical attraction will bring us into a mode where we'll be inspired to bring about the emotional transitions. Once you get into the physical, right? It's a little easier, should be easier to express that when you're in that mode, in the vulnerable state here. No. Yeah, I can't put it any other way. I hope I expressed it where you get it. This divine masculine we're dealing with highly here. Our focus is in there to fix those areas. And again, the universe is trying to get you to use your emotions. And they're going to do it through sex. Just that's what it is. Okay. So on top of the divine masculine and the emotional center, and again, Saturn's in there, taking a serious attitude towards all of this. On top of that, from the pagan deck, we get 13, death. And here we have the butterfly and the blindfold. We talk about freedom. It's interesting to me they're blindfolding her, and the word they want to attach is freedom. Now, give me a minute. There may be things we're not seeing, is what they're saying. In order to get our freedom, there's things we're not in realization of. Again, the spark is going to come through the intimacy areas within your partnerships to illuminate that to you. And that's the butterfly there hovering. That's the discovery. The butterfly comes in. We had a worm swiveling, what do you call that? Sidewinding into the picture here, and suddenly it turns into a butterfly. But we could not see clearly what it was that we needed until after this intimacy thing. So I feel like the intimacy thing, this is the way I think it's going to go down. I feel like we have a crux point with our partner. It may not be a full-out a blowout or an argument or anything like that. I feel it's just something inside that we want our partner to know, and we're not communicating it. This is the key. It's all stuff that's inside we're not going to the partner to. Now, we're going to hold on to that for quite a while. And it's going to create a sense where we stuff our emotions, and we, this is the dark side winning. We stuff our emotions, and suddenly we feel separated from our partner. This is the dark side going, no, we cannot communicate. We cannot share. We cannot. So they're winning in this fight here in the beginning. But again, this is on the side, so it can be swiped off quite easily. It will be after we get together physically with a partner and clear things up, because the intimacy will bring about the feelings, which will bring about the conversation. And then once the conversation happens, that's the transformation. So this is what's going on for the Taurus. Okay. Yeah, because they're grounded earth, right? We need something solid here, and they're going to get it. Okay. The focus, the magician, again, we have all our tools that we need. There's things we're not seeing, our perception's a little off, but we will see after. Like it's destined to happen here. There's a royalty that we're coming from that we don't even realize ourselves. That's part of what we're not seeing. There's a sense of us being valid in what we feel, think, and see. But again, not wanting to communicate that, but a need for it. So the clarification from the pagan deck on top of that is the Two of Pentacles, talking about reconciliation and delay. So the delay says, right, exactly what I was saying here, which was there's going to be a time here where we kind of separate before we realize that that's not the right thing to do. We got emotions coming up. We're not sharing them. That's not the right thing to do. We got to go off on the dark side and pull all that and separate and go, okay, before we realize that we want to go back in. And again, it may be this sexual center that pulls us back in. And then we reconcile in some kind of way. That's right down the center. So that can't be, the reconciliation cannot be avoided. It's there to be seen, and it's happening in the way that it's happening so that we evolve on the other end of it. Okay. On top of the darkness here, I'm going to say, and the Maiden of Fire, who really is there to spark inspiration, the Ankh, which talks about the sexuality, which is how we get pulled back in, eternal life, again, we may have a partner here that we've had, more than one life with, and I feel that this is something we want to work toward. Now, on top of that, from the pagan, we get 7, the Chariot, which again speaks to focus. Keep your focus. Now, just give me a minute here. This woman is like, either they're stopping for a break or a flat tire or something, and then these guys are coming along to help her. Give me a minute here. Yeah, I feel a nefarious energy, but again, we're on the dark side here. It's like, hey, lady, you need help, right? Someone could take advantage of that, or they could truly be 2 strong men coming there to help her, right? So how are we going to look at this? This is the Chariot, and she is stalled. So, right? That's the sense they're giving me. We can either look at this. Okay, give me a minute. Tie this up here. we can either look at this from a vantage point of that person, you know, projecting everything upon that person, but no communication to get them involved, no interaction to bring it together, no discussion to balance things out. We can look at it that way, and we can continue to go like this, or to be completely stopped altogether. Okay, that's really the point they're saying is we are stopped at this point. We're continue to be stopped until we realize that we can't be in fear here about things within the relationship, for one. And in order to reconcile, we really have to spill our guts to that partner. We have to open up and be vulnerable to them. The thing is, those people that are in fear of vulnerability, okay, it's usually when you're that scared of things, it's either because you have a high instinct that that partner is holding something back and you just don't want to find out what that is, or you don't want to go there because you think your partner's secretly against you. Now, if you open that door, you're going to find out what it is, and then you can have the choice to walk away. Or you're going to go in there and find out that it's complete kibosh and you were completely wrong. Either way, you are free. And you need to look at things seriously. Because the universe is trying to get you to wake up here. And the Taurus going, I'll go in one tippy toe here. And then I'll back up 2 tippy toes there. And then I'll put in 3 tippy toes there. And I'll go back 4 tippy toes. Like, they're just not making progress. They're going back and forth. But they're not making, like, they're not instilling the communication. I feel like what's lacking here is just communication. But the sexual arena is going to bring you to a point where, you know, this seems to be where we feel safe to discuss things. Why is that? Why is that we feel safe? If we don't feel safe to communicate, why do we feel safe to interact on a physical level? This is, right? This is the conundrum here. So there's some interesting things. Again, this is spiritually, but on the love and intimacy side, there is a reconciliation here that wants to happen. I feel it's not of a huge nature here. I feel like it's a long-term way of being that we are with our partner, that we're trying to change, and we feel invalid in that. And the universe is going, no, we are absolutely valid. Not only that, we are in high esteem here, and we need to keep going forward. And that person, if they make us feel guilty, it's because they are not in high esteem, and you both need to evolve. Okay, so this is where we're sitting with it. Okay, the planetary card. What do we get? Moon in Leo. Yes, heroism. Yes, let your inner hero out. Roar. Moon is about emotions. Roar your emotions out to your partner. If they can't handle it, they can't deal with it, they don't want to be with you, then you know. There it is. They don't want to be with me. Now I can jump on my moped and move forward to the next little pizzeria, and I can sit down and converse with someone who does care. Because this is what I feel, someone's holding back because they just don't want to hear that their partner, and I think once they open up, their partner's going to just, it's not their worst nightmare. Their partner just doesn't know, so they isolate, and they isolate more, and they isolate, and that's the darkness telling you don't do this because da-da-da. And in the meantime, we're just isolating from our partner, so much so that the partner, you know, we don't even know each other anymore. So we got to reverse that, open that back up. So 7 and 1 is 8, and that's in infinite. I feel like this may also be a different timeline. What do you call that? Crossing of lives here, where we have had, this is a crossing point, and I was saying this in another reading, I can't remember which. It's like, okay, reincarnation, timeline, whatever you want to call it. Past energy with this person, we've done this before. Now, when we come to this point that we're at now, there's things that have happened in the past that we're trying to break through. We're trying to unpattern patterns that have happened. This is why we're having such a hard time. This is why the fear is there. Because we're afraid that things are going to go in a way that that we don't want. But the thing is, you can never control that other person anyway. You can't control things outside of you. If you're evolving and your partner isn't, that needs to be seen for what it's worth. And that needs to be discussed. And you need to say, you know what, if you don't ship up, I'm going to shape out, whatever. You know what I mean? If you don't shape up, I'm going to ship out, this kind of thing. But there's a weakness to confront this. You don't want to be the hero because then you'll be without. But they're going, no, it's not without, we get better. Then we get better after that. We don't get treated this way. And worst comes to worst, we find another partner that treats us better. That's the worst that can happen. The best that can happen is our partner, we communicate with our partner and express what we need, and that partner comes through with it. Or we discover that they can't, and we have to deal with that. Let your inner hero out. Moon and Leo, heroism. Be your own hero and solve things. I do not feel that Taurus is really going to go galloping in this direction, full on. But I think they need to take this into account as they move forward, because we really don't want to be in the energy we're in. We don't know how to remove ourselves from it. Communication is the key. That's what they're telling me. So we'll go from there. Okay, Taurus, that is your reading for the fall season. Take care, have fun, and be kind.